He took her in with no questions, until she mentioned the name. His brother died, cursing. She knocked 3 times, soft but firm. Dusk was settling like dust across the valley. Her right eye was nearly shut, skin ballooned purple, blood on her knuckles, dirt under her nails. She didn't look back down the road. Royce opened the door with a rifle in one hand, nothing in his eyes. "Need a bed," she said. "Few days. I can pay in work." He stared, didn't speak, didn't lower the gun. She didn't flinch. "Name?" "Nora." "Lynn." He watched her for another second, then eased the barrel down and stepped aside. She walked in like she'd been there before. The wood floor creaked under her boots. Inside, the house smelled like smoke and old coffee. Her stew was still warm on the stove. "You want some?" he asked. She nodded. "Yeah." They sat at the table, 2 bowls, 2 spoons. Her left hand trembled a little, but she didn't spill a drop. "You been hit?" he asked. "I hit back," she said. He looked up. "That right?" She didn't answer. He reached for the salt, passed it without asking. She didn't touch it, ate fast, like she didn't trust it'd stay on the plate. "Where you coming from?" "South." "What happened?" She looked him dead in the eye. "Are you asking questions now?" He didn't smile, but something in his face relaxed. "Guess not." She stood when she was done. "Got a blanket?" He nodded toward the back hallway. "Room on the left." She walked slow, steady, left a faint smear of blood on the doorframe as she passed. He cleaned the dishes, wiped down the table, sat for a while with the rifle leaned beside him, just in case. Later, he stood in the hallway. The door was cracked open. She was asleep on top of the covers, still wearing her boots. Her face was turned to the wall. Then she whispered it. One word. A name. Soft. Broken. Elias. Royce. Didn't move, didn't blink. Just stood there listening like the sound had pulled something out of him he thought was long dead. He reached up, closed the door, walked back down the hall. Didn't sleep that night. Royce stood in the hallway long after the door closed. The name still echoed. Elias. He didn't sleep. Just sat in the kitchen with his boots on and the lights off, waiting for the morning like it owed him something. When the sun finally cracked through the blinds, he poured 2 coffees and set one across. From him, she came in quiet, hair damp, face still bruised but steady. He didn't look up. "Who told you that name?" She sat, wrapped her hands around the mug. "You just told me it meant something." His fingers twitched. A slow tremble moved through the cup. "That name," he said, "ain't been said in this house since Asa's last breath." She didn't blink. "Asa, your brother?" Royce nodded. "Died with river mud in his lungs. Said Elias Harlan's name right before the water took him." Nora took a long sip. "Then we got a shared problem." He stared at her. "Odd. You here for vengeance? You gonna stop me?" He leaned back slow. "Didn't say that." Her eyes didn't leave his. He shifted. "Folks around here don't speak Elias's name. Not without something breaking." She smiled without humor. "Then maybe something needs to break." He rubbed his jaw, stared at the floor. "You don't know who you're playing with." "Don't care," she said. "He took something from me." "What?" "My girl. Fire made it look like an accident. I know better." Royce stood, walked to the far cabinet, opened the bottom drawer with stiff hands. From underneath a pile of old receipts and a warped Bible, he pulled out a rusted badge, tossed it on the table in front of her. "Sheriff's star," she said. "Used to be. You wore that when Asa died? Wore it too long after. You believe me?" He nodded. "I believe fire don't start itself." She picked up the badge, turned it in her palm. "You gonna help me?" He didn't answer, just watched her hold it like it weighed more than metal. "Tell me where to start," she said. He walked to the door, opened it wide. "We'll go at first light. You show me what's left." She stood, took the badge with her, didn't ask if it was okay. Didn't have to. The truck idled in the dirt lot behind Royce's house. Still dark, but the sky was softening. He leaned, Against the hood, arms crossed, watching her check the map spread over the dash. The badge sat between them. "I was sheriff," he said, "till they hanged Asa." She didn't look up. "Your brother?" "Yeah." Silence stretched. "Elias." Made sure the rope held tight. Nora folded the map. "What did they say he did?" "Horse theft. Some cash missing from the county fund. No proof. Just men saying things. Was it true?" Didn't matter. Elias wanted him gone. Jury just nodded. "You quit?" "I quit the day his boots hit the ground." She picked up the badge, turned it in her fingers. "You ever try to stop it?" "I tried to speak, got warned off, threats, cold stares. My house got shot through one night. Wife left, took the boy, said I wasn't protecting nobody anymore." "You loved your brother?" He nodded. "He was wild, but he had lines." Elias crossed them. She set the badge back down. "I don't need a sheriff. No, I need a witness." Royce looked at her. Something in her voice made his chest tighten. "I can be that," he said. She opened the passenger door. "Then let's go." He walked around the truck, climbed in slow, started the engine. "Where to?" he asked. She stared straight ahead. "Show me what's left," she said. He nodded once. Drove out quiet, gravel cracking under the tires, heading east where the sun waited just behind the hills. The truck crawled to a stop at the edge of a clearing, tires crunching on glass and bone-white gravel. Nothing stood now but 2 stone steps and the black bones of a house. Charred beams jutted up like broken ribs. Royce stepped out first. The air still held the scent, faint but sharp. Burnt cedar, grease, old fabric. Nora stood with her arms crossed, jaw tight, eyes not blinking. "This it?" he asked. She nodded. "They said it was a cooking fire." He walked toward the ruins. Ash shifted under his boots. "You believe that?" "No." He crouched near the fireplace, kicked gently at a mound of soot and rubble. Something small and metallic clinked loose. He bent down, picked it up with his sleeve. A locket melted shut down one side. He offered it to her. "You lose family here?" She didn't reach for it. "I had a daughter." His eyes searched hers. She was 9, smart as hell, had a laugh like breaking glass. He looked down at the locket. "This hers." She took it now, held it tight, used her thumb to pry it open. Half the photo inside was gone. The paper stuck to the silver. The other half showed a man's face, faded but clear enough. Royce leaned in, froze. "That's Elias." She didn't speak. He stared harder. "He was county law." "Still is." Royce stepped back, looked out over the land. "Why was your daughter wearing that?" "She found it, couple weeks before the fire. Said a man in uniform dropped it by the gate." His voice went low. "You think he came back for it?" "I think he came back to make sure she never showed it to anyone." They stood in the ash, silent. Wind picked up, scattered embers that had been cold for years. Royce looked to the mountains. A white house sat clean and untouched far off on the ridge, fences straight, barn roof gleaming red. "That's his?" She nodded. Royce squinted toward the ranch. "You ready to knock?" Her voice came low. "I've been ready." The dirt road narrowed as they climbed. Fence posts turned white, then red, then black at the top. The gates were painted blood red, clean, fresh. Royce slowed the truck but didn't stop. Gravel popped under the tires. Ahead, 5 men stood in a line at the edge of the road. None moved, none spoke. No guns drawn, but none needed. The silence was louder. Nora opened the door, stepped out calm. Boots hit dust. Royce didn't move. They don't talk unless he lets them. She walked forward anyway. The men watched her, eyes flat. One leaned forward just enough. "You shouldn't have come." Royce got out slow. "She's got business with Elias?" The man's face didn't change. "Then she'll be buried with it." Royce looked him up and down. "You gonna do the digging?" The man stepped back half an inch. The others didn't flinch. Nora kept walking. "We're not here to ask." "No," the man said. "You're here to bleed." Royce moved beside her. That a threat? It's a fact. Then step aside and let it happen. Another second passed. Then one man, older, greyer, stepped back. Just enough for a path. The rest followed. Royce and Nora passed between them. No one turned to watch. Just eyes forward, hands still. The ranch spread wide, fields perfect, house tall and white with a black roof like a hat meant for church. Porch chairs untouched, flags hung straight even with no wind. Ravens circled overhead, low, watching. Nora's voice was quiet. This place don't rot. Royce nodded once. He don't let it. She looked at the house. That's what power looks like. No, he said. That's what fear builds. She kept walking. Shoulders straight. Just don't speak first, he muttered. I won't. They crossed the last stretch of gravel. Her fingers brushed the badge in her coat pocket. The front door opened slow. Hinge creaked once. Then came the voice. Smooth. Like it knew the ending already. Well, hell, Elias called out. Ain't this a surprise? The door creaked wider as Elias stepped out, sun behind him, shirt crisp, boots polished like he never left the parade. He smiled like he'd already won. My stars, he said. Didn't think you'd come crawling back, Royce. Royce didn't blink. Ain't crawling. Ain't back. Elias's eyes slid to Nora. And you must be the storm. Nora didn't. Enza just walked past him into the house. Royce followed. Inside it was too clean, too cold. Nothing out of place. No photos on the walls. Elias leaned on the chair. So what brings you two strays up the hill? Nora stared him down. You remember the Collier fire? He smirked. I remember a lot of accidents. She stepped forward, pulled the locket from her coat, set it down on his table. His fingers twitched but didn't reach for it. You murdered her, she said. He chuckled, soft and low. You'll have to be more specific. My daughter. Ah. He tilted his head. Pretty little thing, quiet, shy. Royce took a step forward. Elias didn't flinch. Should have died too. Nora's jaw locked. You saying that out loud? He smiled wider. That a threat or a confession? She didn't move, didn't breathe. Elias let the silence stretch, then walked toward the back of the house. Calm. As Sunday morning. Help yourselves to coffee if you're staying to beg. Nora stared at the empty hallway. Royce stepped beside her. Her fists were tight. He touched her shoulder. Not yet. The barn sat quiet behind the house, half sunk. From years of silence, Nora stood still, eyes locked on a spot near the corner where the grass grew thinner. She stepped toward it, slow. There was a well here, she said. Old one. Covered it when I was little. Royce followed her gaze. Boards lay crisscrossed and rotting, soft with time and damp. He knelt, pushed one aside. The wood cracked. Easy? You sure? He asked. I used to drop rocks down it. Count the seconds. Royce pried the rest loose with a rusted crowbar pulled from the truck. Dust and dirt puffed up as the last plank gave way. The hole beneath yawned open, dark and still. He clicked on a flashlight, aimed it down. The beam hit stone, slick and wet. Something small reflected light halfway down. You see that? He asked. Yeah. Royce found a rope, tied it to a rusted metal hook on the side of the barn. He lowered it slow, fingers tight around the grip. The light trembled. He pulled it back up. Hanging at the end was a piece of bone, maybe the size of a child's hand. Pale, clean. Nora stepped back. That ain't no animal. Royce looked at it a long time. No, her voice dropped. You think she's down there? I think he's buried more than secrets. He wrapped the bone in a rag, careful, quiet. Didn't speak again until he reached into his coat for a phone. He stared at the barn while it rang. Yeah, it's me. Pause. You still owe me one. He looked at the well. Bring gloves and a camera. Rain started as a whisper on the roof, then turned steady. Nora sat in the passenger seat, arms crossed, face blank. Royce watched the barn through the windshield, wipers groaning with each. Pass. You scared? He asked. No, she said. Just tired." A dark van pulled up behind them. Two men stepped out in plain jackets, hoods pulled tight. They moved fast, heads down. One gave Royce a nod. Flashlights danced through the rain. Mud sucked at their boots. Equipment bags hit the ground. No talk, just work. Royce leaned forward, eyes narrowed. Nora didn't move. Minutes passed. Then one man came back with a plastic case, held it open. Inside were fragments, tiny bones, bits of charred cloth. A piece of melted badge metal curled like it had screamed. Nora stared. "That's her," she said. "That's my girl." The man shut the case. Thunder rolled distant. The rain didn't let up. Royce started the truck, hands firm on the wheel. "We take this to court?" he asked. Nora didn't look away from the barn. Her voice was quiet. "We take it to God." The bottle was half gone when they reached the ranch. Elias sat alone on the porch, boots on the rail, glass sweating in his hand. He didn't look surprised when Nora stepped into the light. "Didn't hear a knock," he said. "You remember her name?" she asked. He sipped slow. "No." "You remember her scream?" He smiled into the glass. "They all screamed." Her arm came up steady. The pistol didn't shake. Elias leaned back, raised both hands like it was a game. "You came all this way for that?" "I came for the truth." "You got it," Royce's voice came from the dark. "Don't." Nora didn't turn. "You want this clean?" "I want it to mean something." Elias chuckled. "Ain't that sweet?" Royce stepped closer. "You think this ends with you?" Elias pointed to the land. This outlives me. Shooting me don't fix what's buried." Nora's hand stayed raised. Royce spoke low. "If you pull that trigger, they call you what they called him." She looked at Elias. He winked. She exhaled once, lowered the gun. Elias grinned wide, like he'd won. She stepped back. "You'll rot in that chair." "Maybe." She walked. Past Royce. Didn't stop. Elias stayed seated, glass raised. Royce followed her without a word. Behind them, Elias watched through the porch glass, his smile fading. They found Elias 3 days later, face down in the river, same bend where Asa died. His hat floated a few feet downstream, caught on a root. His boots were still on. Sheriff's office called it a fall. Wet rocks, slick edge, too much whiskey. Royce stood at the edge of the tape, didn't speak, didn't blink. The deputies took statements, boxed his things, hauled the body away quiet. Royce went home. Nora was already packing when he got back. She folded her clothes small, clean, tight corners. "You could stay," he said. She zipped the bag. "I got ghosts. They travel." He nodded, walked to the kitchen drawer, pulled out the old badge, held it out flat in his palm. "You ever need to be believed again," he said. "Show 'em that." She took it, held it like something still, warm. "You gonna be all right?" he asked. "All right enough." She looked around the room once more. Nothing much in it, but it had held her when she needed. She walked out to the truck. He followed her halfway. The sky was just turning pink over. The river. She climbed in, shut the door, rolled down the window. He stepped back, one hand raised. She didn't smile, just nodded once, then drove.